YouTube, what is up? It's your boy Knowledge here from Gamers Little Playground, and I'm joined here by
y'all know. All right, guys. If you're new to the podcast, talk about gaming, news, and
life,
and the culture. The gaming culture,
yeah.
life culture in general. I forgot what the topics were, so I'm gonna look at it real quick.
Oh my god. Now I wanted to talk about, because everybody's been on Twitter, everybody's been talking about the whole Xbox buying Bethesda. Then that whole argument comes up of then now people are mad at Xbox because those Bethesda games are probably not going to be like for all the platforms. It's just going to be exclusive.
I don't blame
But I was just yeah, but like, and at the same time, then everybody's talk shit about Xbox not having exclusives. So I don't know. I was wondering what you thought about that. Like, does it piss you off that they would make them exclusive? You think it's bullshit?
I think it's genius.
Huh?
Like, yeah, it's bullshit. Like, okay, this is how I feel about it. I like Bethesda. I'm not a big fan. Like, literally, the first Bethesda game that I know that I played, that's like, oh, this is wait, who's Bethesda? They make Mass Effect, or is that BioWare?
Oh my god, bro. You already know that, like, you shouldn't even be talking about Bethesda. Look,
who's Bethesda?
It's Skyrim, Fallout, at them, Elder Scrolls.
Oh no, I don't care.
Prey.
I don't care.
Yeah,
I thought we were talking about BioWare. That's why when everybody was talking about, I was thinking they were saying BioWare. Like, I got their names confused, so I was like, damn, we not getting Mass Effect 4 on PS5. Damn, that's a shame. Because that's the only thing I give a fuck about.
Oh my god.
That's all I care about.
But BioWare is owned by EA.
Yeah, they are. Right? They are. But I was thinking BioWare took... Microsoft bought BioWare from EA. That's what I was thinking. I was like, damn.
You're like,
they
damn.
got Mass Effect now. Like, no, if this is Bethesda, I don't really care. I don't really mess with Skyrim.
Okay, you don't care because you don't mess with it.
Yeah,
but just
I
overall
it, like, it's a great decision. It's smart on Xbox. So they have no games. Has Bethesda's track record been good or bad lately?
I mean, lately it's been a little shaky. It's been a little iffy. Because Fallout 76 was
16
trash.
times the detail. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's pretty trash.
With that, is Todd Howard still involved?
I mean, he should be. He's like the lead person. Yeah.
Well, Xbox probably bought a bomb. You know, they might just fail now because having a big guy like that constantly lie to the public just hurts your brand recognition. I mean, if you can't back it up, eventually someone else is going to replace you. So I don't think it's a win. I think it's a loss. Honestly, Xbox, it was smart though, because would you rather have bad games on the Xbox or no games on the Xbox?
It doesn't matter even if they're bad. It's just these names are so big. Like, exactly. I think that's what matters.
It'll drive sales.
That's what matters. Yeah. But I mean, like, okay, like the new Elder Scrolls, like Elder Scrolls 6, that's gonna be a big fucking game.
Yeah.
It's gonna be huge.
It's gonna drive system seller. It's the system seller. It's not good for us, the public. It's good on Xbox. I mean, Sony does the same thing, man. Like,
yeah, no, I think the argument is like, okay, they do the same thing when it's in house.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you know, Xbox has their in-house studios. Like, okay, they own Halo, they own Gears of War, they own Forza. Fine,
that they do nothing with.
Okay, but the whole point is, like, the reason people get mad about this is because these games were multi-platform before, and now they won't be. But we don't know that. They haven't confirmed that yet. Okay. You know, it's just been like reports of like people saying like some of them might be, some of them won't be, blah blah blah. Well, I mean, they also have Wolfenstein and Doom. So like, that's not no bullshit.
Well, like, see, with their big stuff like that, like Doom, I feel like timed exclusives are what they would do. Like
that's probably the better move, honestly.
if it's a timed exclusive, and people know that it's a timed exclusive, it won't be that bad.
Yeah. But no, me personally, I think it is. I think it's fucked up when they're multi-platform and then they make them exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like as a business person, like I don't blame Xbox for doing it. Shit, you gotta sell your fucking consoles. And on top of that, if you're a gamer and you always hear this, which is true, that competition is good. So like, it doesn't help you as a gamer to have Xbox so far behind PlayStation, because then eventually it's just gonna be PlayStation. And then like as we see with any company, like if any company ever becomes a monopoly, that's when they start doing like the shadiest shit ever. Like they can do whatever the fuck they want.
How PS3 they came out, they thought they could do whatever they want with that $600 console, and everyone's like, "Fuck no!" Right?
Yeah.
And then they started kissing the PlayStation gamers' ass, and everything got better. And then the next system came out was the 360. No, not the 360, the Xbox One, and they were focused on what? The Kinect. All they cared about was the Kinect. Started driving away all their competition to the PlayStation 4. And now the PlayStation 4 and 5 is huge. Now, Sony, hopefully they don't screw it up. But they're ahead of Xbox still because that whole Kinect debacle. And now Xbox has no games, so what do? Let's buy some companies, because we have to buy companies.
It's so crazy to me though, like they like 4 years ago they fucking announced like, oh, we bought this studio, that studio, this studio.
Yeah.
Like they still haven't come out with nothing relevant. Yeah, well, they bought Rare a long ass time ago.
Yeah, and all they did was make Kinect games.
Yeah, how could they? How dare they put fucking Rare, the fucking legendary company that they are. Yeah, to me it's crazy. I don't understand, because I like Xbox better personally, like as a system. You grew up with it. I like the 360, so whatever. I just prefer the Xbox, but it's not even like a debate. Like PlayStation has better games, period. It's not even like you just cannot even debate that shit. Like it's disingenuous if you try to come in here and be like, no, well the Xbox has Forza. Shut the fuck up. Like like they have 3 series: Forza, Halo, and Gears, and like they have like fucking Xbox One didn't have shit. Yeah, they just came out with Gears 5.
That was like dude, that was like 5 years ago.
Oh, it came out like last year.
Are you serious?
Gears 4 was like 3-4 years ago.
Is that bad on me because I forgot about it, or is it bad on them that I forgot about it?
Both. Both. Well, I mean, because you're a PlayStation fanboy.
I'm not a fanboy.
PlayStation fan. Yeah, you are.
I used to growing up, my first game system was a Sega Genesis. And then I grew up throughout the whole Nintendo era. I had a GameCube, I had a Wii, and then my first PlayStation was a PS3. So
yeah, but ever since PS3, you've been on there.
Well, PS3 was the shit. They had everything. What do you want?
Dude, the 360 was so much better than the PS3. Talking about like not even a fucking debate.
I was poor. I couldn't afford to pay for online back in the 6th generation.
Oh my god. Hey, okay.
You can't disagree. All the poor people had to get a PlayStation because it was cost effective.
Yeah, let's pay $200 extra, but no online fee. So like,
yeah, in the long run. Yeah, because how long did those consoles last? Like 8 years? Like, come on, guy. Come on. $200. You can't spread that throughout 8 years. You could.
You didn't know that then, though, because back then they used to come out with consoles. Like,
I had no choice.
But I'm just saying. But like back then, they used to come out with consoles like every 4 years. And then that generation, the PS3, Xbox 360 generation, lasted like 8-9 years.
Good old days, man.
Yeah.
I went back. Speaking of, let's go on to our next topic. Playing older games. Have you been playing any older games?
And now I've been playing Red Alert. Red Alert 3. It came out in 2008.
Okay.
You ever played that? You
It.
never fucked with
Red
those.
Alert. It sounds super familiar, but I don't think I've played it.
Command and Conquer.
Command.
It's like
no. I haven't played those games. They were too. I don't want to say hard, but they were too. For a younger me, I couldn't get a grasp of it.
Yeah, they're super complex. Yeah,
I was,
but you had. Well, the thing about those is like you have to play them on the computer. Like they release console versions, but they're like literally there's no point of playing it on fucking console. Like there's just you have to play that shit on computer. That's my honest favorite game of all time is Red Alert 2.
Really?
And like that's the game that I got addicted. Like that was addicted beyond anything I've ever been addicted to. Like that game was my obsession for like 3 years.
You make it sound like a drug, man.
Shit. Well, it was my first experience with online.
Oh,
so that's why.
Okay.
That's why, because this was back in like 1999. We got our first computer. And then my cousin used to play Red Alert, or he used to play Tiberium Sun. That was like the one before Command and Conquer, before Red Alert 2. I played Red Alert 2, and then my first, it was like back in the days when you used to hook up your telephone shit in there, like AOL online and shit.
Wow. Laggy
that's how old I am. Hell yeah, but I got so fucking like hooked on this shit.
Yeah.
So bad.
What have you been playing like that you like? Do you enjoy going back and playing older games? Like, do you prefer older games besides the nostalgia factor? Like, if you went to go play a random game from like 2006, no.
Nah, I don't know how people do it. Like any game that I played when I was a kid, I could play it again, and have fun. If it's a game that I didn't play. And like if I'm playing some Nintendo 64 era game that I didn't play when I was a kid, I'm like, this shit's horrible. Like this is trash.
Because I recently bought EA Play, and I've been playing a lot of PS3 games, and I've been enjoying them. It's like simpler. Like the graphics are ugly and stuff, but it's like it feels like such a simpler time back then. I don't know how to really explain it. It's just smoother. It's like I don't really gotta worry about much when I'm playing these games, and I feel like I'm getting like the whole package too.
It's a little different with PS3 because pretty much PS3 era is kind of what the games are like now. The games now are just maybe better graphics, maybe a little more complex. I think PS2 era, like if you think about like San Andreas, like the way the missions were structured, like they were just way different to how they were. I think like PS3 and on, it's like this whole generation. Then like PS2, like Dreamcast era, that was that. And then before that, it was like retro. Like anything before that is like retro.
You think you could play any retro games now?
Not any like ones I haven't played. Like I can go back and play. I played so much back then. Like I could play any Super Nintendo game I played when I was a kid and have fun. I've tried playing like I don't know, like some of those new ones they make that are like retro style or kind of like
just nah, it's too old. I feel that. I played it's this game. I don't know if you heard of it. You get like a grappling hook and it's like a side scroller. I don't remember what it's called, but it's have you played that? You ever heard of a game like that? You got like a grappling hook and you can grab enemies and you shoot them, but it's like side scroller.
Really? That sounds like fucking Metroid. Like the old school Metroid. They're like it sounds like Castlevania.
Well, the point is, it's.
I'm asking amazing games, by the way. Amazing.
What, Metroid?
Hell yeah!
I never played
Metroid. I don't think you can now. I don't know if you could now.
I played Other M, a little bit of it. I thought it was kind of cool. But that was
alright.
Your style, right? Like not the speed.
Oh yeah, Other M is okay. I mean, that was more kind of like a Ninja Gaiden game.
Yeah, that's what it kind of felt like. It was like jumping around.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
Like it was fun. Yeah, it was fun. But it's like one of the best games ever made is Super Metroid. But I don't know if you can go back and enjoy that now if you've never played it before. I don't know.
Do you really think that, like in general, for gamers nowadays they can't really enjoy older games?
I think the majority can't, but there's a certain group of people who really do enjoy going back. You know, the ones that are still fun though are like party games. Like, so you can go back and play Super Mario Kart, and it's just fun, even if it's your first time. I don't know. I feel like you can't go back and play like Harvest Moon or something like that. Or like,
a lot of people play Harvest Moon.
Yeah. Well, you know, I guess
that's a farming game. I mean,
yeah. Okay. Well, you can't go back. You can't go back and play like Automobile Lamborghini. Like,
what?
You can't go back and play that shit. No.
What the hell is that?
Exactly. You know? Exactly. No, actually, Harvest Moon is a bad example because there is a whole generation of kids who grew up playing the DS.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of like, yeah. So there is a lot of people who play like, let's say Zelda on the DS, and those are more kind of like the old school Zeldas, just more modernized. So yeah, I guess that's not entirely accurate. There's definitely like a whole group of people who would enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I don't know. Like, to see nowadays gamers, like if they were to even because I doubt they would even attempt on their own to go play some old games. But if they were, they'd probably be like, "Man, what is this shit?" Like, I'm talking like not Super Mario World, because everybody knows Super Mario World. But like, if you gave them Castlevania and they weren't into, and they don't know what Castlevania is, because Castlevania is pretty much dead now unless they want to revive it. If someone was to go play the old NES Castlevania side-scrolling, hard as fuck.
We're like, what the fuck
People
is this?
Hate it.
It would, man. I'm telling you, it's a rare breed of people who can go back and enjoy it. I mean, much respect to them, but I can.
Do you think that's for? I mean, like everybody, like I said, I grew up around original Xbox, PS3 days, so I could go back and play those. But do you think other people that grew up around those could play those and not games that they know?
Yeah.
Like, you grew up around Command and Conquer, but you don't think you can go back and play a game that you've never played in that series?
Not from that era. Hell no. I've tried it too, because even on the EA Play, on EA Origins, they have like the full collection
of old.
I was like, oh, let me go play Red Alert 1. I never played Red Alert 1. You know, I played it a little bit on the 64, like, but I didn't. But it was like I said, I'm stupid on console. I tried playing that shit. I was like, man, what the fuck? Like,
you just gave up on it.
It's horrible. Like the graphics look horrible. This and that. You know what? It's just, I don't know. I think that's a bigger conversation about just, to me, one of the most potent fucking drugs in life is nostalgia.
Yeah.
Everybody can look back, even like at a bad time in their life, and be like, damn, remember when we blah blah blah? Like it was like the worst time in your life, and you're like, damn, remember back in the day?
Like it's funny now. Back then it wasn't fucking funny. Like I remember when my lights were cut out, and me and my cousin stayed the night. We were playing the game, and then power goes out. And we're just like, oh, when the power is going to come back on? Oh, this sucks. Like, now we could look back on it and be like, bro, remember when the power went out when you came over, bro?
That like, oh, that was crazy. Oh, shit. Yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't want to get too dark, but it's like, it's the same thing in my family where it'd be like, oh, like my dad would get like super drunk or something, and we'd come home, and then like, you would have to like drag him to bed or something. It was like the worst night. And then now we talk about it. It's like, remember when he was drunk and we had to drag him up the stairs? Like,
yeah.
You know,
I think that's just everybody, man. Like if you can look back on it, like it's crazy. Like I even know I've seen people like that were like in jail and stuff. Like, and they make a YouTube channel about it, and then like they'll talk about being back in jail, and they have like a smile on their face, and it's like, dog, you're in jail, and you telling these stories with a smile on your face, like. So yeah, nostalgia is a crazy drug, but I
mean, like, look at you, the army. Like, I know you hated it while you were there. I don't think you'll ever want to do it again, but at the same time, it's like you look back at the times where your friends and all that, and you probably have like, damn man, I miss those guys, I miss this, I miss that.
And it's crazy because they're like, oh, the worst parts you'll miss it or whatever. Like when everybody's in the suck together, you'll love it. And it's like,
Yeah.
I don't miss those days when shit sucked, even with my friends. I remember I miss when we had good times. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
just a whole nother like psychological type story right there with the with military and politics and shit like that. But yeah, I get what you're saying. I was gonna ask you, without nostalgia base, try and like clear your mind. What do you think so far has been the best console cycle? And when I say the best, I'm saying like the best games, innovation, like all together, storytelling, art, the amount of games that came out that were good. What do you think it is?
I think I would say, like, yeah, objectively, the best era has to be the place. I think sixth generation. I think it's a six. It's PlayStation 2, GameCube, Dreamcast, and Xbox. First Xbox.
Okay.
I think that my personal favorite is the Super Nintendo era because that's when I was like 8.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, objectively, just looking at the fact that like it really introduced online gaming into the mass culture, like Halo and like SOCOM 2 on the PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
It built the infrastructure. Like Xbox Live really built the infrastructure for online gaming. Like Halo 1 and 2 were just incredible, like for that. I think the GameCube is probably the most underrated console of all time. If you actually go look back, it's funny because I feel like everybody I knew had a GameCube
Yeah.
and like a PlayStation and an Xbox, but everybody had a GameCube. And like I looked at the sales and they only sold like 30 million consoles, whereas the PlayStation 2 sold 150 million consoles. Yeah. I think even the Xbox sold more. Like,
but the GameCube,
but yeah,
it just had so many hitters on it. It's like,
dude, the GameCube was just fire, bro. Like fucking Twilight Princess, Wind Waker. What was the Mario one called again? Sunshine. In that era? Super Mario Sunshine,
Luigi's
Star
Mansion.
Fox, Luigi's Mansion, F-Zero, fucking Star Wars Rogue Squadron. And they had some fucking
big hitters.
Yeah, they had some games on there. Okay. Then yeah, PlayStation 2. I mean, I wasn't a huge fan, but at the same time, it's like, dude, God of War 1 and 2.
So many sales.
Final Fantasy, like they really had some Kingdom Hearts, bro. Fuck. Gran Turismo.
Yeah. There's a lot of good ass like beginnings. Like,
yeah.
That's when, honestly, shoot.
What do you think? What's your time? Is that you would say the same time?
I'd say the Wii era. Wii, PS3, and Xbox 360. Just because the Wii itself literally changed gaming from just gamers back when the PS2 and GameCube, it was just gamers buying that. When the Wii came out, everyone bought that. Grandma that's never played a video game got the Wii. Like just the Wii alone, because of Wii Sports and the casual friendliness, really brought gaming, I think, like to a whole mass market to everybody. And that's when mobile games started coming out too. Like mobile games started coming out. And then
that's a good argument.
The PS3 and Xbox 360 came out. You guys got Halo Reach, Halo 3. PS3, they started getting Killzone 3, Killzone 2. Killzone 1 was on PS3 as well.
I was on PS2. It was on PS2.
It was on PS2.
Killzone 1 was... Yeah, it might have been on PS3 because remember in the beginning they had like the old PS3s had like the backwards compatible. Yeah.
Damn, they really need to bring back backwards compatibility. I don't know. That's another topic, but like hardcore gamers had something to look for, and that was like the era when everything was dark because Call of Duty was popping. Like Modern Warfare 2 came out, Modern Warfare 3 came out, Black Ops 1 came out, Black Ops 2 came out, and like it's so. Call of Duty changed the gaming, like the hardcore gaming landscape. Because originally it was just like fun little, kiddie games. You had your dark games, but it was like on PS2, like yeah, like Tony Hawk Pro Skater and all that stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, cool stuff. And then PS3 and Xbox 360, it got dark. So all the teenagers that grew up, they had their edginess come out in video game form where everything was dark and gray, but you still had the Wii for everybody because it was super casual. So I'd have to give it to the 7th generation based off that.
See, I would say that I would say the 7th generation was probably the most important and influential. But even still, like every argument you made right now is kind of like it's not that the games were better. It was just like that the influence was bigger.
That's what I was saying. Like in general, like what do you think is the best? Like
I mean, like I think they're just different questions. Like I would say, the influence that generation had, the 360 era, is by far like the biggest influence because
but you don't original think Xbox makes it a better generation?
No, I mean I thought the original question was just like which one had the best games.
Well,
like so I just
I guess I didn't articulate it well.
I misunderstood. I mean I might have just misunderstood, but because I would just say like the best games happen in that PS2.
We're gonna talk just games. Just games alone. You're gonna say the PS2 original Xbox era.
Yeah,
I'd agree. It makes sense because that was literally the beginning. Like all these sequels came out on the other consoles. Like this is where it all started. PS2, Xbox, GameCube, like all that stuff started on the 6th generation. So
a lot of the series that we still play today were created in that time. Like Halo, like Call of Duty. Like Call of Duty was out the big red one, and like Call of Duty 1, and so a lot of those series, God of War, they were made in that time, and they've carried over. And also that's when 3D gaming really became viable, because at first in the 64 era, you had like Super Mario, and you had kind of like those PlayStation like Resident Evil, like it's 3D, but not really. It's like 2.5D.
You got tank controls.
Yeah, and like the controls are just horrible in a lot of those early 3D games. And I think in that generation is like when they really figured out how to do 3D games, and then they just been like building on that ever since then. I mean, I think you're right too, because I didn't even think about that, but you're right about the mobile games really took off in that Xbox 360 PS3 era, and that's like a huge that's a big thing.
Yeah,
that's a really big thing.
DLC became a thing. DLC didn't exist back in like 6th generation. So
that's true too.
It definitely.
But there's definitely the most influential. I mean, and then my personal favorite, like I said, is the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, TurboGrafx 16. Like those just have like, all like
over here.
That was just the era. Yoshi's Island, bro.
Yeah, Yoshi's Island was hard. I couldn't beat it. I couldn't get past the guy with the stop sign.
Oh, dude, it's so good. Like it's one of the such a good Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah.
But then back then, a lot of all like the good games were just like platformers and shit. Like,
do you think games nowadays are too easy?
I think that they're balancing out. I think a lot of them are too easy. Then I think there's been the backlash the last 10 years where then that's why they started making those Souls games, which you love. I think that's why there's a lot of Souls style game now, because it's like there's like that hardcore crowd who's just like, man, we just want a hard game, and then there's the easy crowd. I think for a while they were getting too easy. I think maybe in the 360 era, like they were just like, especially the shooters, you could beat them in like fucking 4 hours. Like they were nothing. They're easy. Then,
I'm not 100% sure, because I think I kind of like when I started being aware of it, I grew up around the difficulty slider. There wasn't really much difficulty choices in your games growing up, or were there? Like you choose easy, medium, hard, or no? It was
Like
just
no, like just I'm just thinking on top of my head, like Super Mario World, there's no difficulty. Donkey Kong Country, no difficulty. Zelda, no difficulty.
yeah, but
But
PlayStation, because Nintendo
that's when
still
it started.
nowadays they don't even have difficulty. Like you try to
Yeah,
play Super Mario, whatever the latest one is, there's no difficulty on it. You just play it.
yeah. Man, they're pretty difficult. That's like a lot of them
Yeah,
are
the
pretty
harder
hard.
levels
Like
I've seen,
yeah,
I've seen,
yeah,
they are ridiculous. And then whenever Super Mario Creator, can't remember what it's called,
yeah.
Mario Maker, when people
Mario Maker,
started
yeah.
uploading their stages, I was like, how the fuck? How do you?
Dude, I love the. I had never played it, but I love the fact that like Nintendo made it so that you have to beat the
Yeah, you have to beat it
map,
first.
yeah, in order for it to. I was like, oh, that's a good idea, because otherwise you just make fucking minefield. Nobody can do anything on it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's true. I think the difficulties thing probably started coming up like in the PlayStation 2 era, like in the Xbox original Xbox era. I think that's probably when it started coming around. Like for every game, it seemed like every game had that. But yeah, like now they have like Sekiro, Dark Souls, Jedi Fallen Order.
I think just
The Surge.
I think Nintendo's probably the only ones that don't really put difficulty in their games. Like, not first party anyway. I don't think they do it.
They don't roll like that, man. They're too hardcore.
You think it's necessary?
I don't know. I mean, I get where people argue like it needs to be accessible, but at the same time, there's certain games where like their vision isn't for it to be accessible. So
when I tell you
I
it's
think
necessary, let me like articulate it better. Do you think easy mode is important? Because there's normal mode where you can literally read them, and it's like this is for people who have some experience with whatever genre game it literally will say it. It's like this is for the people that have somewhat experience. Hard is like, oh, this is for people who want to actually participate in combat or whatever. And then if you go easy, it'll literally say, like, this is your first time ever doing something like that. Like, that's literally baby mode. Like, is that necessary? Like,
I think it's smart. I think it's smart because you just capture a bigger audience. So like,
I feel like people
I don't like playing
that.
That's on them. I mean, it's on them to make the choice. I agree. Like, I don't like easy mode. The game's not fun that way.
Yeah.
You know, because it's just otherwise you're just watching a movie. Like
you just going through a couple buttons.
Yeah, you rather play it. I mean, if you want to watch a movie, then watch it on Gamers Little Playground. Like then if that's what you want. Hey, but they got smart. They got smart, and they stopped calling it easy mode, and they just call it story mode. Like, you want to play it on story mode? Boom.
I think the funnier ones are just like game journalist mode. Game journalist mode is hilarious. That's easy mode basically.
Really? I haven't heard of that.
You never seen game journalist mode? It's in some games. It's not in a lot of games. It's only in some games. It's I wanted to ask you this last week, but I forgot. When it comes to game journalism, do you think they have to beat the game to be able to review it properly?
I think that yes. I think that they do, unless it's like a broken game that is like literally almost stopping you from beating the game.
See, I was thinking about it too. I really wanted to say yes, but then I thought about it. It's like, it's not necessarily true for you to beat the entire game to be able to review it. Like, you don't order everything off a menu at a restaurant to know if the restaurant's good. Why do you have to go through every single part of the game to know if it's good? Either you're gonna say the game is good or bad based off probably like the first 5 hours that you're playing the game.
Yeah. So. Okay, well here's that's a good argument, but here's probably where it's a little different from your restaurant example, which is like don't have to eat everything on the menu to review a restaurant, but you have to go into the kitchen. You have to go into the bathroom. Like if you want to give a full review of like the facility of like be like, okay, this is or you have to
the
like
full thing,
interact with. Yeah, so it's like
I get it.
maybe in a game that's the idea, which is like, yeah, you have to try almost everything out. But yeah, I get you. I get you. I think in that light, yeah, then maybe you don't need to play the whole game, but I think you should know, like if you're playing an RPG, a lot of them get better after like the first 5 hours, and that's just the truth of it. And like people hate,
they backload it.
Yeah, but I think that's part of the charm of an RPG is to start you off in like a small place so that you feel the whole thing. You're role playing through the journey. Like I always remember Twilight Princess. In the beginning, like you're literally a herder, like you herd sheep or cows, I forgot what, and like and it's just kind of like it's slow, and you're just like, what the fuck, like this
you
is
do the sumo match with the guy.
Yeah, and then slowly but surely you get into the story, and then by the time you get to a certain place in the story, you're like, oh man, like you live through that boring part so that it feels better when you get to the big part.
Yeah, it's good for a gaming perspective, like gamers in general. But for a review, where like there has to be a line somewhere. Like there has to be a way for you to experience the game. Like I like how when Ubisoft gave us early access to Watch Dogs Legion, they gave us the boosters and they gave us the season pass. I like that.
Yeah.
That would make it easier to experience like the back end of the power creep without having you to slog through it, right? If more games could figure out a way to do that, whether it's back in the old days, once you beat a story, you can go into the main menu and choose that chapter to play again. If they have that unlocked from the beginning for the reviewers so they can experience the beginning, like say the first level, a little bit of the second, jump to the middle, or jump straight to the end where they have all the powers and stuff, and then go back to the middle. Like, if they could jump around, I think it would be better for like a review standpoint than just...
For review?
Yeah, for review.
Yeah, I think it depends on the game. I mean, I think if anything, if you're giving the game to somebody to review, then the key is to give it to them early enough. Like, don't give it to them like fucking a day before embargo, and then people will talk shit and be like, "Well, don't drop your review until blah blah blah." And it's just like, well, this is a fucking business.
Yeah.
So if you're fucking IGN, you can't release your review fucking a week after when GameSpot did it day one. It's just the nature of the business. Like, I don't want to hear that bullshit of just like,
it's hard.
Like, dude, at the end of the day, it's a business. Like, yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, I get it. You're fucking with your integrity if you fuck up the review, which like GameSpot has done a couple of times.
It's crazy because sorry to cut you off, but IGN is known for bullshitting out reviews, yet everybody goes to IGN for a review.
Yeah.
So at what point does it matter, honestly? And then on top of that, IGN has several different reviewers, because I went to their website, how to become a reviewer for IGN, and I looked at it, and it was literally like, I'm just paraphrasing. It was basically, how good at you are making bullshit sound good. I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what I read. When I read all the requirements, it was like, how good are you at making bullshit sound good? And depending on how good you are at that, I would say, depends on how good of a reviewer you are. But at the end of the day, IGN has like 10 reviewers that they constantly switch out because they fire and hire people all the fucking time. You don't know where the guy that got the bachelor degree from fine arts, you don't know how many video games he's played. You don't know if he's beaten Dark Souls before. You don't even know if he knows what Dark Souls is. Yeah, you're going to take his review and be like, yeah, because it's a business, like the company name's on it. So I feel like I'm going off on a tangent, but that's what I was gonna say. Like I like small reviewers like that are established, that are like a not a one man crew, but you know their experience because of all their videos, like Angry Joe.
I mean that's what makes them so popular too. And I mean, and to be fair, like IGN and GameSpot, they attempt to do that. They just can't always do that.
Yeah,
but they attempt to be like, this is our RPG guy. This is our racing guy. No, they're not gonna put like some guy who likes fighting games to play like shooters that he doesn't like. No, and they'll put on the bottom on the byline like, oh, this so and so person loves so and so game. They played whatever. Also, they try to do that. To be fair, like they do that. It's just sometimes they can't. Like sometimes there's maybe too many games out, and this
not enough reviews.
They're like the RPG person is busy playing this RPG, and then they can't play this other RPG, so they got to put somebody else on it. Yeah, I mean, they come out with some bullshit sometimes, honestly, like they really do. But I just think that if the number one thing that, like, if they're gonna get the game from a company, the company needs to give it to them on time. And then after that, if they fuck it up, then they fuck it up. Like they didn't do it right.
I feel like
you're saying the Ubisoft thing was cool because not only did they give it to us early, they gave us like a whole manual. Like, you know, they always give you like a manual of like, this is what you should be looking for. This is what's gonna happen here and here and here. So that's you kind of get primed for it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, how long do you think it would take to even make a proper review? Like, when I say proper review, I don't mean top to bottom, because that could obviously take months to go through every little fucking thing. But like one that's like, I have experience with the game. Like, would you say like a week or 4 or 5 days, 3 days?
Depends on the game. I mean,
it does depend on the game.
Depends on the game. I would say you probably need like double the time of how long it takes you to beat the game. So like if a game takes you 10 hours to beat, you need another 10 hours to kind of like mess around with it, look at it, and then you probably need like another like 12 hours to actually write the review, make the video, all that. It's a lot, man. I don't know how people do it. That's a lot. Yeah,
days, man. Let's just give the reviewers the games a month early.
I would fuck. You know they won't do that shit.
It's not possible because like crunch time and blah blah blah.
Spoilers.
Yeah, that too.
That's exactly why they don't do it. Is because of spoilers, which I don't blame them for. I mean, I don't blame them for that.
Yeah, that's crazy. What else was I gonna ask you?
What about the whole like? Does the game have to be? Is a fun game a good game?
Oh yeah. Is a fun game a good game? Dude, that's such a hard question right there. That's such a hard question.
What about, is a good game a fun game?
Is a good game a fun game? Yeah, I would say yeah.
Think so?
Yeah, I mean, if it's a good game, obviously you're gonna have some enjoyment with it, and if you're enjoying it, you're having fun, right? But when you say it the other way, can a good game be, or can a fun game be a good game? That's a lot harder because you can make any game fun with friends, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Like every time I either watch a video or a review or whatever, and someone's like, "Oh yeah, the game's alright, but it's better with friends." Like, dude, everything is better with friends.
Like no duh.
What the fuck does that mean? So that's why it's like a lot harder
with a partner.
Like, I don't really enjoy doing this podcast, but it's more fun when I have Mike with me. Like, no shit. Like,
yeah, that don't make no fucking sense.
So,
yeah, I disagree with you, bro. I think that both of them are untrue. I think. Word? Oh, no, I agree with you. Like, yeah, a fun game is not necessarily a good game because there's games that can be fun. There's just like I can tell you, like, man, this game is trash, but it's fun playing it. But I'm having fun, but I can't sit here and be like, this is a good game. You know, like it doesn't.
What is a good game? I think a good game is a game that works. But to make it great, it has to be good.
Make it great, it has to be fun, you mean? It has to be good and fun to be great?
I don't know.
Let me just say the flip side of it, though. Okay, because this was the argument that came out a lot with Death Stranding.
The fuck is Death Stranding?
Because you Death Stranding, man. It just came out like... One? Yeah, the fucking Kojima one.
Oh, Death Stranding with the baby and shit.
Yeah. Okay, because I actually played this game. I actually did play. I had played it for the channel. Yeah. I played it for 65 hours.
Jesus Christ.
And I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that the first like 20 hours were not fun. They weren't like
20 hours. I know why you did it. But why would a normal person put 20 hours into a game they don't know is going to be good?
Because it was good. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun. It was kind of tedious. At the same time, I can't describe it really why, but it was actually I could look at it and be like, wow, this is a good game. This is different. And then after 20 hours when world kind of opens up to you and you get like more stuff, and you're like, okay, this is getting a lot better, and I'm actually enjoying this. I'm actually having fun. But those first 20 hours, I was just kind of like, what the fuck, like, because literally all you are, people always said it, you're just a mailman. You pick up stuff, you deliver it. Like the mechanics of delivering it is like you have to balance yourself, and you got to use the triggers, and it's like it's not super fun. But I thought it was a good game. Like I thought it was really good, and then eventually it did get fun. Eventually,
so it wasn't fun, but it was good. It
was good.
And then eventually it turned fun, but it was good throughout the whole thing.
Yeah. So, but like, let's say I quit after like 10 hours. If somebody would have asked me, they're like, "Dude, is the game good?" Would have been, "Yeah, the game is good, but it's not fun." That would have been my answer. But since I played all 60 hours of it, I could say like, it's not that fun the first 20 hours, but then it gets fun and it's good, well made.
And you can't describe what made it good.
Not really. It's just there's something about
the experience.
It was about the experience. Yeah, because I guess that's the difference. It was an experience because the story is mysterious. And you're kind of interested to see what's happening. You know, you want to find out. Mechanics are cool because they're new. There's not really any other game that's like it. So you're kind of like, okay, I want to see where this is going to go. Like, how are my powers going to get? You know, what else am I going to get? When am I going to get the motorcycle? And during that whole first 20 hours, it's just like picking up a thing. You're walking over to the next thing, and then you're dropping it off. Like,
sounds like you just enjoyed a lot of the curiosity.
Yeah, like it was good because they built a cool world that was interesting, but the actual mechanics of playing the game was kind of dull. Like it was pretty boring for the first. That's all I was saying. That's like the ultimate example because I know when it came out, it was like people were divided. Most people, I would say like half the people were like, man, this game is boring. This game is trash. You guys are all hyping it up. Then there's like the whole like the crowd of just like, oh, you guys are just dumb. You don't understand fucking masterpieces. Like, you know, like
I think that's
I can't stand those motherfuckers. I can't stand them. God damn it.
I think that's what made it hard for like the middleman like me to get into, because you got these people saying it's boring, it's bad, and then you got these other people on their fucking high horse on this pedestal talking about, oh it's art, it's so good, and you're stupid. And it's like, well, I don't want to be like you, and I don't want to not enjoy it like him, so I'm just not gonna play this shit.
You know? Yeah, I can't stand a motherfucker who like, oh my god, dude, I cannot stand this shit. Like,
Well, I mean,
you don't understand it. You don't. You're not smart enough to understand this higher level of IQ shit going
like,
on.
damn, dude,
Shut
how
the
hard
fuck
can you
up.
suck off Kojima? Holy shit. Like,
Dude, it's just ridiculous the way people get with that, man. Like,
it's passion, I guess. I don't know.
it's like I love Kendrick, right? I love Good Kid, Mad City. I thought To Pimp a Butterfly was not that enjoyable to listen to. I think he's super talented. I think it had a couple good songs.
But you're not afraid to point out flaws.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, I love Kendrick, but I didn't think that this was like enjoyable music that much, other than like 2 or 3 songs. Of course, there's a whole group of people on Twitter and everywhere on the internet just like, nah, you just don't get it. Like he's just on some other level that you don't understand. Like we understand it. We're geniuses because we understand everything he's saying, but you don't. And then I can't stand him because I remember reading one tweet where the guy was just like, "You motherfuckers need to stop acting like you need a PhD to listen to Kendrick. Like, shut the fuck up." Like,
dude, on that high horse, man. Well,
I can't. Just sorry, I cannot stand. We should just make this a segment. Things that I cannot stand.
On your rant, bro.
Okay,
like,
I cannot stand on YouTube comments. Make deep comments. Like those comments where they point out the most obvious thing that's going on in the video, like wow, Kendrick really said, and then they just like repeat the lyric as if like you didn't understand what he said.
He's breaking it down.
Like, yeah, like he's breaking down something that doesn't need to be broken down. There is no metaphor, nothing. It was just kind of like wow, he really just.
That reminds me of the people. The only time I've ever had comments like that on any of my videos was the Cyberpunk. When I made the video, the cops were broken. Literally, like there was a dude in the comment section like, "Oh, it kind of makes sense. Like you walked up to him and he said back up, and then when you backed up, you were just staring at him. Like it would make sense for the cop to get upset and then pull his gun out." I was like, "No, dude, it's broken. Video game. Chill. Like no, this is not no fucking 4th level dimensional game." Okay, they did not go down and program each cop to have their own personality, their own fucking life, their own. This is not real life, man. Like, no, it's a fucking bug. They thought I was hostile when I wasn't, and they fucking started shooting at me because they were programmed to do that. Like, chill.
Because I remember seeing that comment too. The guy went off on like a whole paragraph.
Yeah,
just like exactly what you said. It's just like, well, if it makes sense, I mean. Maybe his wife didn't cook him dinner the right way. And he was like, no, but he was like dead ass serious.
Yeah,
he wasn't even
serious.
like
That's the
joking.
crazy part. I was like, this motherfucker's not joking. Like for some reason, I was like, he's not joking. He's like, and then someone else commented, "It's okay. You don't have to convince yourself that it's good." I was like, got him.
Yeah. I would have just responded like, or it's broken. Like,
or it's broken.
or this game is trash. Maybe that's like, man, like,
one of the two.
The yeah.
Dude,
seriously, man.
People are insane. I don't think I've ever been a fanboy of anything like that. Do you think you've ever been like a fanboy? Like it doesn't matter, hell, rain, or sleet, snow. You're fucking rooting for that team, like for the Xbox. Were you ever like that or not?
A little bit. I mean, close. Yeah, I mean, for the Lakers, yeah, like blind the Lakers because I still a Laker fan, but when I was like in high school, like I would literally watch every single game, all year, like all 82 games plus the playoffs and shit. But
so you know how it feels to be like.
Blind.
Yeah, like
the
people that are like, you know, I kind of get it, but the people that are like, yeah, my team, we won this. It's like, you're not out there.
Yeah, you're not part of the
team. Like, you can be a fan. You know, I'm not coming at you if you're a fan. Like, if you're a fan of fucking Sony and you're like, yeah, fucking Sony's the shit. When Sony, how many consoles did they sell? Like, let's say they sold 2 billion. Don't go out there being like, yeah, we sold 2 billion consoles.
We sold
like,
2 billion.
You didn't do shit.
Yeah.
You just bought a game. You bought a console. You did not sell shit. You bought a console.
They don't give a fuck about you, bro. Like they could
Like,
care less about you.
I don't think I've ever been like a straight up fanboy for anything. Like even this guy behind me, if he does something wrong, I'm like, oh dude, fuck you. Like I've never been like just a blind fanboy. I don't see how do you get like behind something 110%. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Like how does that happen?
I mean, it's human nature. I mean, we're tribal by nature, so like we get so defensive of whoever we think is on our side, you know, and whether that's for most people that's their family. You'll defend your brother if he's a murderer just because he's your brother, and it's hard. Like you might end up finally turning against him, but it's like it's not an easy thing.
It's not easy.
It's good for you, because most people do have that in them. Like,
I mean,
they can be a fanboy.
It's the whole like the tribal thing. I understand the tribal being defensive. I just don't like the tribalism when it's like it's either this or nothing. Like, bro, it's not like that with anything. There's always a shade of gray. Like there's something, you know, it's not just either I'm fucking right or you're fucking wrong. It's either I'm right or I'm wrong, not I'm right or you're wrong. Like the world does not work that way.
I completely agree with you, but I'm be honest, I have been, like I said, with the Lakers in the early days, probably with like the Nintendo 64. I was a super like Nintendo fanboy, and I didn't even like, if somebody was like, "Oh, let's pop in the PlayStation," like fuck the PlayStation, you know, like fuck, this game sucks. And then like you'll be watching them play something and it looks all sick and shit. You're like, damn, that looks good. And then
like
they ask you, like, what do you think?
Man. Do you think the console wars are done, or do you think they've evolved?
Oh man, that they'll never be done because, like I said, we're tribal people. Like,
I mean, I haven't seen no fucking tribalness online. Maybe I'm just not looking for it.
You're not looking for it. I mean, if you go on Twitter, you see anytime there's like some news about Xbox or there's some news about PlayStation, they're like, oh, all the fucking the Sony pony boys or whatever they call it, or the Xbox, and they start talking shit. Yeah. And they come out with those responses like, nobody asked you, G. Like, like, you know, like just some stupid, like, dude, that shit. That's why I find it funny. I know we're like not going to talk about politics, but just in general, every generation of politics talks about like, oh man, we're so divided now. Man, like we've been divided since the beginning. It's literally hasn't been there is no moment in history
where everybody's on the same side.
The only times that happened, and the only time it happens in human nature, is when we're at war. That's it. That's the only time when people unite, is when you have to fight, when there's some foreign thing that comes at you and that you have to unite and defend yourselves. Any other time in the history of mankind is division. Like, for some reason, every generation thinks that their generation, it's like everything went wrong this generation, this and that, and we're just confronting new problems, but it's the same divisions that's been there since fucking Alexander Hamilton and Thomas Jefferson were on opposite sides of how they thought we should literally, like, the opposite philosophies of how we should run the country, and it's the same fight that we've been having since then. Like, the exact same one.
Quick question before we end this off. Let's talk about leaving legacies. You know, you've been doing GLP for a long time, right? It's almost been, what, 7 years or something like that?
Yeah, full time. This is gonna be my 8th year. Started the channel in 2009 though, so it's been
Jesus. So 8 years you've been at this. Eventually you're gonna be like, I don't feel like doing it no more, right? That's how everything is with any company, any business. So is this gonna be like you're leaving your legacy off to like your nephews and your niece, or how's this?
No, I don't know.
Do you ever see GLP ending?
everything ends. Yeah, there's gonna come a time when it happens for sure. I don't know what it's gonna be like. I feel like it'd be cool if, yeah, like if my nephew took over in the future, if he had as a, like, how the way people pass down their businesses,
Yeah.
like to their children. I do think, just as far as legacy goes, I hope that everybody gets an opportunity in their life to do something like this, like GOP, because GOP could shut down tomorrow.
Good.
And even if it did, it would always be a part of my story. Like if somebody were to write an obituary about me or write whatever, and I died, and they said, well, like, oh, this person started and made this channel and it had 2.2 million subscribers and it was successful and he was able to make money and buy a house and employ his friends and his cousins and blah blah blah. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like the legacy of that is permanent, even if the channel isn't. Even if I'm not here, no matter what happens, even if the channel goes on 100 years, the story starts with me. That's my thing. That's my legacy. It will forever be mine, no matter what happens. Here. So that's just it's a cool thing. I mean, it's a beautiful thing.
And you still have your
so
accolades and all that. Like, there's proof. even if it disappeared, there's still proof. Like, you got the play buttons. You got the people that comment all the time. You got the subs. Like, it's forever. Right?
It's forever. Yeah.
Even if the channel itself is gone, it'll live on through other ways, like through somebody else that makes their own channel and they get big and they say, I used to watch videos on Gamers Little Playground.
Yeah,
it's forever.
That's dude, and that's a beautiful thing. Like, in that, those are some of the most heartwarming ones where people are like, oh, dude, you're my childhood. Like, I was watching you when I was in middle school. I was watching your game movies, your walkthroughs, or whatever. And of course, it's not just me. Like, me and my cousin run it together, and he hopped on with me full time like a year and a half after. So it's part of his legacy too, for sure. I know. I'm just talking about me personally. Like, that's just, for me, that's what it is. So yeah, it's like that the legacy you leave. It's kind of like it doesn't matter if the channel's around. Like, people will remember. Like, there's gonna be 50 years from now, people who are like, yeah, remember Gamers Little Playground?
Yeah.
Not a lot of people, but there'd be some. Like,
there would be some. Well, I feel like there'd be a lot still. Like,
I don't know. I mean, it's a lot of subscribers for sure. It's just, it's not like PewDiePie. I'm not talking about size. I'm just talking about impact. Talking about, like, it's more when there's a personality to it, then you remember the person. Whereas our channel, like, you don't know who the fuck we are. Like, it's just, we're just people who play the games and edit them in the background. It's like, who cares who the fuck we are? Like, it doesn't matter. So that's why my legacy stays with my family and friends who know what I did, but not really with the rest of the world. The channel stays with the rest of the world. The channel has his legacy, but not me, or not my cousin. So it's a little different, but it's still fulfilling.
Yeah. Oh, I was saying, as long as you're fulfilled, literally, I mean, that's all that fucking matters.
Yeah. I mean, do you think about that often? Like, what legacy you're going to leave behind?
A lot. Like, growing up, when I had I still have my own channel, but when I was like doing skits and everything, like comedy, I was like, oh, I want this to be me. I want people to know who I am, Rashawn. I wanted people to know who I am, right? And then I joined the military, and then now I'm doing this, and it's like, now I don't care if they know Rashawn. The only thing I really care about is if they know who Mystery is. That's all I really care about. It'd be like, oh, Mystery Mr. R. Yeah, I've heard that name. I know that guy. Even if it's not, oh, I know this, and this about him. Like, people know about all these other YouTubers. As long as there's some type of memory of me, that's fine. Because I don't want to die and, like, nobody knows anything about me. Like, then it's like, well, shit. What did I do?
Yeah.
That's
What
just
impact did I make in
I know
this
a couple
world?
people that don't care about legacies at all. They're just like, I mean, if I die, I die. I mean, oh well. I have no friends. I have no family. Nobody's gonna remember me anyway. Blah blah blah. And it's like, I mean, I don't want to live like that. I don't want to die like that. I'd like to have some type of clout when I die. God damn it.
Yeah, they better cry for me. God damn it! Like
you don't got to be on Twitter,
least,
but shit.
yeah.
That's just how I am.
I mean,
I love clout.
yeah, I think I don't know what percentage. We've talked about something similar before. I'm like, I wonder how many people think that way. I think a lot of people do. There are people who
Nowadays,
don't.
yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of nowadays, yeah. Everybody wants to be fucking famous nowadays.
Yeah. And I think that has to do a lot with social media.
Yeah.
It has to do with all the social media where people wanna leave a legacy. But I think that it's human nature. I think that's what all these civilization, like you had all these wars and these people who wanted to take over and be kings, and because they want to be remembered.
True.
You know,
and they wanted
like
to run shit.
because I feel like we're all so scared of death. The only way that you're gonna live on forever is if you're remembered. You know, and there's certain people in history. It's just like we still read fucking Shakespeare 600 years later.
Everybody knows who Martin Luther King is.
Yeah, and it's just crazy. Like those certain people just echo through eternity, and they're in our consciousness like fucking hundreds of years later. And it's just that's an amazing thing. And you're like, damn, I want that. Like that's
especially now. Now is like the easiest time for anybody to become famous. Especially since the like, I'm gonna use YouTube because that's like my main example. Because YouTube was before Instagram and all that other shit.
Yeah.
Ray William Johnson. People will forever know Ray William Johnson, even though he's no longer around. He's no longer around. Ryan Higa. Be forever around. And then you got Instagram. You got all this stuff. So it's way easier. Like you see the numbers too. So you know how many followers you have. Back then, the only way to know how many followers you got is like you did like a public like speech and people showed up. That'd be like the only way to know how many people really supported you. Now it's just a number.
It's true. You didn't know
this many followers. Even though that's not necessarily how many, people that really support you, but it's the human nature of, ooh, I want to see the number get bigger, big number, ooh, big brain, ooh, like
it gets into your head. Big number, I'm important, man.
Exactly.
I'm important.
So like it fills the ego, right? So
I have like a mini obsession of I like watching CoffeeZilla. I don't know if you've ever seen him. He exposes fake gurus a lot. And like I love what
I think is that the guy that like he didn't really expose Ty Lopez, but he was like, this guy's a little bullshitty.
I mean, a lot of people have exposed Ty Lopez. He did, but I'm sure a lot of people. There's a lot of people who have. His whole channel is based around like he just talks about like scams and how people got scammed and these fake gurus and this and that. And like the reason I bring it up is because with a lot of these people, it's all about getting the clout, making the lifestyle, renting the Lamborghini, taking the fake picture in the private jet. And part of it is because they're trying to scam you for your money. But the other part of it is it's a psychological thing where they want to feel important. Like they want to have that feeling of like, I'm somebody. Yeah. I'm fucking to be respected and to be admired. And I just think it's sad. It's like the saddest fucking thing. I love watching it because I love when they get caught, and it's just so fucking because I just can't stand when these people like fake it. I don't see the point in faking it. Like, well, how do you get fulfilled by it? If it's not real, I don't get it. Like,
there's this new saying. I don't know if you heard it, but it goes, "Clout is the most addictive drug in the world."
For sure. That's
people
true.
Do stupid shit. People literally get themselves killed for clout.
Literally.
Yeah, literally. Like, I don't know if did you hear, like, it was probably like last month. A guy was doing fake pranks. Remember fake pranks were all over YouTube? He was doing a real prank in a parking lot. Like, he had a knife.
I saw that.
And he got killed for it. For what? For internet clout. And now he's dead and nobody knows his name. They just know what stupid shit he did to die. Like,
oh man,
that's ridiculous.
So dumb, man. I couldn't believe that story because it's just like, why is that even? But that's just crazy how far they've taken it. Like, why is that even a prank?
Like, let me just run up. Like,
yeah,
if this motherfucker runs up on me with a knife. Like, I'm first thing in my head is not, oh, he's joking. Like, how would you even explain that? Even if you were joking, you'd be like, give me your money, and they gave you the money, and you're like, no, it's a prank. See, we're on YouTube. Ha ha ha. Like,
come on, man. Yeah, that's mental illness. Honestly, like, I just
Darwin Awards, man.
That's what it is. That's natural selection taking. I'm sorry. I did not feel sorry for that kid. I was just like, dude,
it's wild.
He
dude.
Got what yeah.
It's hard to feel sorry for him. Like, it sucks he died, but dude, you were begging to get either beat up or killed. Like,
if anything, I was happy at the guy who like defended himself and didn't let himself.
I didn't follow his story. Did he get off?
I don't know. I don't know if he did. I'm sure he did, though. There's no way. So. Nobody would have charged him with anything. There's no way. Like, how can you? He thinks he's being assaulted and robbed. Like, what the fuck? What else?
I've heard crazier stories.
Like what?
The fake rape allegations, and they only get like 30 days in jail. Yet the guy's fired. He fucking loses everything, and now he can't get rehired over a false allegation. Like, dude, there's crazy stories worse than that. Just in the real world. Like what? I can give you another one. A veteran. He was at home minding his own business. An old lady was on his property. He told the lady to leave. She wouldn't leave. She called the cops. She said, he said he was going to kill me. And then they went to court. Blah, blah, blah. He got found guilty. Well, he turned into a veteran because he was active duty. But it's like, you have PTSD. So you're guilty. Obviously, you threatened this lady, even though he never did it. It's in the law. If someone's on your property, you tell them to leave. If they don't leave, you have the right to do whatever. Because they were in Georgia. They're in the South. He didn't do anything, but they called the cop, and he lost everything. Yeah. Over a lie. Because she lied under oath.
Man, that's crazy. I mean, yeah, those stories you see all the time. That's a whole other issue, honestly. Like, that's...
You know what? I think we should just kill everybody that lies. I'll solve it. No, what do you?
Listen,
I would kind
of need to go to jail.
I want to ask you this offline, but fuck it, we're recording. What do you think about? I don't know if you know who the President Duterte is. He's the Filipino president.
No.
He said this a long time ago, and he's been doing it because he's the president. He can do what the fuck he wants, right? He said we're gonna kill all the drug dealers and drug users in the country. And he's serious. He himself has been in the streets killing drug addicts and drug dealers in the streets of the Philippines. Like, what do you think about that?
Dude, that's
like, fucked up. He is the law. And he's like, crazy, if you see a drug addict, kill him. And nothing will happen to you. And people have been doing it.
Oh, hell no. What the hell?
Yeah, no. It's crazy, right? It sounds made up. It sounds made up, but it's not. You can look it up. And he's been doing it for like 4 or 5 years now.
I can't believe nobody's killed him.
I'm amazed the country isn't drug-free.
Yeah, you know that's not going to happen. Fuck that. Ain't nobody going to stop doing their drugs over there. Shit.
It's so crazy. It's fucking crazy.
That's psychotic. That's psychotic, dude. I'm gonna read up on that now. Yeah, I can't believe that.
Go ahead. He's still the president. He was cool with President Trump and shit. You don't fuck with Biden though.
Only best friends with Trump.
But yeah, that's the podcast, everyone. I know it got a little crazy at the end. But like I said, we talk about life and the culture. Hey, that's life.
And the culture. And the culture.
And crazy culture. So I hope you guys enjoyed. My name is Myst.
Knowledge.
See you guys next week. Same time, same place. Comment, rate, subscribe. And we'll see you next time.